Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time we're going deep on AI in banking.
Ooh, very relevant.
It really is, and it's one that, we get questions about all the time. So
Yeah.
we're going to be looking at this article from the DX Today blog called AI in Banking, Enhancing Customer Experience and Efficiency.
Okay.
It was published November 28, 2024, so pretty recent. And we're going to see how AI is really changing things up for banks and customers.
I think what's really fascinating about this is that, for a while, AI was sort of this buzzword,
Right.
this future thing. But we're really past that now. It's actually happening. It's driving real change in banking.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
not so much like, is it going to happen? It's how is it happening right now? And this article really digs into that.
Yeah.
So maybe for folks who aren't like super tech savvy, can we just break down like what does AI even mean in the context of banking? Like what's the core thing it does?
Sure. So at its heart, AI in banking is using machine learning.
Yeah.
To analyze huge amounts of data. We're talking about all the data from millions of transactions,
Yeah.
customer interactions, market trends, everything,
Wow.
and finding the patterns in it.
Yeah.
The insights that humans just couldn't spot on their own, especially not at that scale.
So it's like having the super analyst just working 24/7, crunching all that data, looking for ways to optimize everything.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I can see the appeal there, but let's talk about the benefits. Like, how does this actually improve things for the average customer?
Yeah.
Is it just about speed or is there more to it?
It is about speed. Efficiency is key, but it goes beyond that.
Yeah.
Imagine like your banking app not only knows how you spend your money, but it actually helps you budget better, save more, even invest smarter.
Huh.
Based on like your goals, your situation.
Hmm.
AI can personalize financial advice and products in a way that was never possible before.
That's powerful. I mean, that level of personalization. But okay, let's get specific. Can you give us some real-world examples of how AI is already working in banks that people might be interacting with without even realizing it?
Oh, absolutely. Think about those chatbots you see on bank websites or apps.
Right.
A lot of them are using natural language processing, which is a type of AI.
Yeah.
So they can understand your questions and respond like a person.
Oh, yeah.
And they learn from every interaction too, so they
Yeah.
get better over time. And behind the scenes, AI is also analyzing every single transaction,
Really?
looking for anything suspicious, any signs of fraud.
Huh. I've definitely used those chatbots, and they've gotten so much better. It's like sometimes you actually do feel like you're talking to a human.
Right.
But that fraud detection thing, that's huge. That sounds like AI could really be a game changer in terms of keeping our money safe.
Exactly. AI is really good at spotting those patterns and anomalies that traditional security measures might miss. So it can catch unusual spending behavior,
Oh, wow.
flag accounts that might be compromised, even predict risks before they happen. It's like having a 247 bodyguard for your finances.
That's a great way to put it. So we're talking about a future where our bank accounts are constantly monitored for any kind of suspicious activity, but in a good way, right? Like a silent protector
Exactly.
looking out for us when we might not even realize it's happening. That's a pretty reassuring thought, I gotta say.
It is.
But what about the other side of things, the lending side? How is AI being used to figure out who's a good risk for a loan?
Okay.
And what does that mean for borrowers?
That's where things get really interesting because with traditional credit scoring, they often look at a pretty limited set of data,
Yeah.
which doesn't always give you the full picture of someone's financial health.
Uh-huh.
AI can look at way more data, though, like your spending habits, how stable your income is, even things like your education or job history.
So it's not just about, do I pay my bills on time? It's more about the whole context of my financial life.
Exactly.
Like, have I been responsible with my money overall? Even if my credit score isn't perfect.
Exactly. It's like AI can see the bigger picture.
I like that.
And this could really help people who might be unfairly penalized by the old system.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could give them access to loans or credit that they couldn't get before. So it's about making things fairer.
That's a really interesting aspect of this, the potential to level the playing field a bit and give more people a chance.
Yeah.
But okay, let's zoom out a bit. What about the future? This article focuses on what's happening now, but what hints does it give us about where AI in banking is headed?
Well,
What's coming next, and what should we be paying attention to?
it definitely hints at a future where everything is super personalized. where your banking experience is completely tailored to you.
Okay.
Imagine opening your app and there's like this virtual assistant that knows your goals and helps you reach them.
That sounds like something out of a movie, but how would that work in real life? What would that kind of hyper-personalization actually look like?
Okay, so think about something like applying for a mortgage. It's usually such a hassle, right?
Yeah.
Lots of paperwork, lots of waiting. But in the future, AI could automate a lot of that.
Yeah.
Your bank's AI could fill out the forms for you, verify your income and assets, even assess your risk, all in real time.
Wow.
You could potentially get approved in minutes, all through your phone.
That would be amazing. No more mountains of paperwork, no more waiting for weeks to hear back. Sign me up. But I gotta admit, this level of AI integration does make me wonder about the human element.
Sure.
Are we headed towards a future where banks are just run by robots and human interaction becomes a thing of the past?
I don't think so. I mean, AI is powerful, but it can't replace everything that humans bring to the table.
Yeah.
Like empathy building relationships, really understanding people's situations.
Right.
It's more about AI and human expertise working together.
So there will always be a role for human bankers, even in this increasingly AI-driven world?
Absolutely.
What would that look like?
Well, AI can handle the routine stuff,
Yeah.
the data crunching, optimizing things behind the scenes. But when it comes to those big decisions, the sensitive situations, or just providing that human touch that builds trust,
Yeah. Right.
we'll always need people for that.
That is reassuring to hear, that human expertise won't become obsolete.
Definitely not.
But as AI evolves and becomes more ingrained in our financial lives, it does raise questions about regulation.
Yeah, for sure.
How do we make sure that AI in banking is used ethically responsibly,
Right.
that it benefits both the customers and the institutions? How do we make sure it's not misused?
That's the key question, and it leads us to a really important conversation about how we shape the future of this technology.
I'm ready for that conversation.
Me too.
So it feels like we're at this turning point, right? With AI becoming more and more central to how banking works.
I think so, yeah.
And like with any powerful technology, there's the potential for good and bad.
Right.
We have to think about the downsides, too. This article touches on the need for regulation, but doesn't really dive deep into it. Can you talk more about that? What kind of rules and oversight do we need to make sure AI in banking is used responsibly, ethically, for everyone's benefit?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's complex, for sure, and it needs a proactive approach from regulators, policymakers.
Okay.
We need clear guidelines and regulations that address data privacy, algorithmic transparency, consumer protection, all of that. It's about finding that balance between encouraging innovation but also protecting people.
Data privacy is a huge one, right? We're talking about AI systems having access to all sorts of sensitive financial data.
Oh, absolutely.
Our spending habits, our investments, literally everything.
Pretty much.
So what kind of measures can we put in place to make sure that data is handled responsibly, ethically?
Well, for starters, strong data encryption protocols are essential.
Okay.
And strict access controls, limiting who can see this data and how long it can be stored. But also, consumers need to know how their data is being used. It should be clear and easy to understand.
Right.
And they should be able to opt out of certain data sharing practices if they want. Transparency and control are key.
Transparency and control. I like that. It's about putting consumers in the driver's seat.
Exactly.
Giving them the power to make informed decisions about their data. But what about the algorithms themselves? How do we make sure they're fair, unbiased, and explainable? Like sometimes it feels like a black box.
Yeah, I get that.
We don't really know how the AI is making its decisions.
That's a valid concern. And it's where algorithmic transparency comes in.
Okay.
Regulators could require banks to explain how their AI systems work, what data they use, the logic behind their decisions.
Interesting.
Maybe even have independent audits of the algorithms to check for bias or discrimination.
Oh, wow.
It's about accountability,
Yeah.
Building trust in these systems.
Right, because we need to be able to understand why the AI is making the decisions it's making, especially when those decisions affect our lives, financially.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, right? Regulating something as complex as AI, especially when it's constantly changing.
Yeah, it feels like a moving target.
It is. So one approach could be to focus on outcomes rather than specific technical requirements.
Okay.
So you establish principles-based regulations that emphasize fairness, transparency, accountability.
So it's less about dictating exactly how the AI should be built and more about setting those core ethical guidelines.
Exactly.
That makes sense. But Who's ultimately responsible for making sure those principles are followed? Is it all on the regulators, or do consumers have a part to play?
I'd say it's a shared responsibility.
Yeah.
Regulators set the rules, enforce them.
Right.
But consumers need to be informed and engaged. We need to ask questions, demand transparency, hold institutions accountable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The more informed and engaged we are as consumers, the better equipped we'll be to navigate all of this and help shape a future where AI in banking benefits everyone.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
We're not just passive bystanders here.
No, we're not.
We have a voice, and we can use it to influence how this technology is developed and used. So for our listeners who might be feeling a mix of excitement and maybe a little bit of anxiety about this AI-powered future, what's your advice? How can they stay informed and be part of this conversation?
Stay curious. Don't be afraid to ask your bank how they're using AI, what data they're collecting, how it affects your decisions.
Right.
Read articles like the one we're discussing today, follow the news, talk about these issues. The more we talk about it, the more we understand it, the better choices we can make.
That's great advice. It's about being proactive, not just letting things happen to us.
Right.
So as we continue this deep dive into AI and banking, we want to encourage everyone listening to keep learning, keep asking questions, and be part of shaping this future where AI and human expertise can work together to create a better financial system for everyone. It feels like we're on the verge of this massive change in how banking works.
Yeah.
With AI really taking center stage.
Definitely.
And with any powerful new tech, there are potential downsides we got to think about.
Oh, for sure.
This article we've been talking about mentions regulation,
Right.
but it doesn't really go deep on it.
Yeah.
So can you expand on that a bit? What kind of regulatory framework do we need to make sure AI in banking is, used ethically or responsibly?
Well, it's tricky. It's multifaceted. You need a really proactive approach from policymakers.
Okay.
Clear guidelines, regulations that address things like data privacy, algorithmic transparency, consumer protection, all of those.
Right.
It's striking that balance.
Right.
Fostering innovation while protecting people.
So data privacy, obviously a huge one, right? I mean,
Yeah.
We're talking about these AI systems having access to so much sensitive financial information.
Oh, yeah. Tons of it.
Everything, from our spending habits to, our investments,
Pretty much.
our whole financial lives.
Yeah.
So what specific measures could be put in place to make sure that data is actually handled responsibly, ethically?
Well, strong data encryption is key. Strict access controls, too. Limiting who can see that data, how long it's kept.
Makes sense.
Consumers need to know exactly how their data is being used
Right.
in a way they can understand.
Yeah.
And they should be able to opt out of certain data sharing things if they want to be. Transparency and control are essential.
Transparency and control. I like that, putting the power in the hands of the consumer.
Yeah. Yes.
But what about the algorithms themselves?
Oh, well-
How can we ensure that the decision-making of these AI systems is fair, unbiased, explainable? Because it does feel like a black box sometimes.
I know what you mean.
We don't really know what's going on in there, how it's making the decisions.
Right, and that's where algorithmic transparency is really important.
Okay.
Regulators could require banks to lay it all out.
Oh, wow.
Explain how their AI systems actually work, what data they use, the logic behind their decisions.
It's interesting.
Maybe even independent audits of the algorithms to check for bias and things like that.
Huh.
So it's all about accountability.
Yeah.
Building trust.
Right, because we need to understand the why behind those decisions.
Absolutely.
Especially when those decisions are affecting our, wallets.
For sure. And it's a tough one.
It is.
Because how do you regulate something as complex and fast-changing as AI?
Yeah, it feels like a moving target.
It is. So one approach could be to focus on outcomes rather than specific technical requirements.
Okay.
So you set up principles-based regulations that emphasize fairness, transparency, accountability, those big ideas.
So less about dictating every little detail of how the AI is built and more about setting those core ethical guidelines.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. But ultimately, who is responsible for making sure that those principles are actually upheld? Is it all on the regulators, or do consumers have a part to play in this?
I think it's a shared responsibility, for sure.
Okay.
Regulators make the rules, enforce them.
Right.
But consumers need to stay informed and engaged.
Right.
Ask questions, demand transparency, hold institutions accountable. The more informed and engaged we are, the better we can navigate this and shape a future where AI in banking actually benefits everyone.
That's a great point. We're not just passive recipients of this technology.
Definitely not.
We can actually have a say in how it's developed and used.
We can.
So for our listeners out there who are feeling, maybe a mix of excitement and anxiety about this whole AI future,
I bet.
what's your advice to them? How can they stay informed and be part of this important conversation?
Stay curious,
Mm,
Don't be afraid to ask your bank how they're using AI, what data they're collecting, how it's impacting decisions that affect you.
right.
Read articles like the one we talked about today.
Mm-hmm.
Follow the news.
Yeah.
Talk to people about it. The more we talk about it, the more we understand it, and the better choices we can make.
I love that advice. It's about being proactive, right? Not just letting things happen. So as we wrap up our deep dive into AI in banking, we want to encourage all of you listening to keep learning, keep asking questions, and be part of shaping this future where AI and human expertise can work together to create a more equitable, efficient, accessible financial system for everyone. Thanks for joining us on this journey. I love